And Cubelic in the morning. I'm going to do this quickly. It's 8 o'clock, hour number 2 underway. Roddy Nabulsi is going to join us in a second, but Blake held through the break to discuss the Alex Golesh hire, which we asked you to call in. Give us your thoughts on that in our previous segment. So let's let Blake in. Blake, your thoughts on Alex Golesh as the Auburn head coach?
Well, guys, to be honest, I've not liked a Auburn hire in a long time. What I look for in a coaching hire is really more so a mindset and attitude more than X's and O's, and I am really excited about this one. I think he's bringing a new attitude to the program. I don't care about offensive guru, defensive guru. Let's face it, everybody's a guru on one side of the ball now, but I'm really excited about the attitude that this guy's going to bring.
There you go. All right, Blake, appreciate the call, man. I'm kind of proud of Auburn fans, going to be honest with you. And we stated that we both like the hire on Monday, feel good about it, and so we're getting positive feedback. I love it. Roddy Nabulsi joins us now on the Higginbotham Hotline. He covers Georgia football. Talk a little signing day. You have a different vantage point of this. What were your thoughts when you saw that Auburn hired Alex Golesh to be their next head coach?
Well, I was told, I was just kind of laughing at all the people who told us on Twitter there's going to be DJ Durkin, as my sources say everywhere, and I'm like, well, your sources are garbage if that's what you're thinking. So, as a Georgia fan, as a Georgia reporter, I'm talking to all the Georgia fans. The first question was, who is this guy? But when they started looking into him, they're like, oh, that sounds like a really good hire. Maybe maybe Auburn fell into something smart here. So. The Georgia fans were, wanting to – they've got Kirby, so they like to look down on every coaching hire that pops up. And, it's warranted. He's the best coach in America. But when you start looking at what Golesh did, you're like, okay, that guy sounds pretty good. So that's how the Georgia fans are reacting. There's cautious confidence, but with the potential that, hey, maybe Auburn did finally get a really good guy.
I will say your sources – They may have been correct for a moment, Roddy. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. It wasn't mine.
Just a small moment there in time. But
I kept waiting for the DJ Durkin announcement, and everybody's right about it. I'm like, okay, everyone's acting like it was a done deal, and I'm like, guys, have you ever covered a coaching search before? Because don't say anything with that. Don't say it with your full chest until you've seen him get off the plane.
Exactly. All right, so where is Kirby Smart on this signing day? As far as this, I'm always interested in the strategy of how many high school kids are they attacking? What do they want to try to accomplish on signing day? So give us kind of the 1,000-foot view of where Georgia is right now.
1,000-foot view, a lot of teams are going hard in the portal. And Kirby Smart will too. He'll probably sign about 20 in the portal, but he's also going to sign 30 kids out of high school. So when you start looking at the sheer numbers that they're getting, Georgia is at the top, in the top 3 or top 5 in this recruiting class, quality-wise, but also quantity-wise. He's getting a lot of kids in. They started having the kids announced at like 7:45 this morning. Big Ikene Okpoko, the 5-star offensive tackle, followed up by a bunch of defensive linemen and offensive linemen. It's just like the draft. They go trenches out when it comes to signing. And in the past, this would be an all-day thing, and I would have about 7 to 8 different radio spots lined up throughout the day. Now by lunchtime, Kirby Smart will have his class done. He gets these kids, and they may have a 2 o'clock or 5 o'clock announcement or signing ceremony, but they will turn in their paperwork at 8 o'clock. So he likes to get the class done early, get them all in, and line them up. He doesn't think that you can build a team out of the portal. You can address spot needs like he did at wide receiver the last 2 years, but you can't build offensive lines or defensive lines out of the portal. There's just not enough top players who in the trenches who go into the portal. So you got to get those kids in high school. You got to get them into your weight room, get them built up. And that's exactly what he's doing with his class. Also, tight ends, you need those, get those kids here early. And he likes to have his defensive backs here just because, perfect example, they took 3 safeties out of the transfer portal because they needed safeties. Only one of them is playing, and he's not playing very much. So if you want to have a good cornerback, good safety, good star, nickel guy, you want to get him in there and get them all in here by December and start working them out. So that's the 1,000-foot view.
What do you make of the Jared Curtis situation? For those that don't know, five-star quarterback's been committed to Georgia, flipped his commitment yesterday to Vanderbilt. What is he as a prospect, first and foremost? I mean, people are just going to see five-star and think he's automatically first-round draft pick. But what do you make of him as a prospect, maybe even a fit in that offense, and why do you think he flipped?
This is a kid, I tell people, when you go see him throw, and he doesn't do a lot of camps, but I caught him in Nashville at a camp, and you can hear the ball whistle when he throws it. He's Matt Stafford. I mean, that's just we can throw the five-star and all the rankings out the door, but when you watch this kid's arm, he has just an electric arm. It just the ball flies out. The arrival velocity when it hits the receiver's hands, you just hear that thwack. Because the kid he's like a jugs machine. So losing him is a big deal. A lot of people will say, oh, well, Georgia's fine at quarterback. Yeah, well, but, I mean, is it easy to lose a first-round draft pick? No, because this kid definitely has that potential. And the reason he left was not because a lot of people want to say, oh, he's just chasing the money. The kid's getting a lot of money, but he's also going to get a lot of money at Georgia in NIL. So I spoke to the people who were putting up the NIL dollars, and they were right there with what Vanderbilt was offering. But he wants to be the man in year one. He wants to play next year. And if you come to Georgia, you're going to be sitting behind Gunnar Stockton. You might even be sitting behind Ryan Puglisi, although I think this kid would beat out anybody on Georgia's roster if they were of an equivalent year. So he doesn't want to sit behind Gunnar, so he's going to go to Vanderbilt, and he will be the star around Clark Lee builds his offense.
We're visiting with Roddy DeBulsey, talking signing day, focus on Georgia, emphasis on Georgia. Who's the prospect or two that we need to be watching for Kirby Smart today, where you'll ultimately view this as a huge day or maybe just a good day?
You like those offensive linemen, as do I, because I think that's the difference in the game. And Akine Ogboko, that is he's a monster, 6'6", 5-star offensive tackle. That's, he's like, I won't say he's like Juan Gaston because he's a big boy. You saw how he's that 6'8", but you've seen what a difference maker you can have when Georgia has Monroe Freeling and Ernest Green healthy. It's a completely different offense. Remember when they played Alabama last year or earlier in the season, they were without their starting two offensive tackles, and the offense just it was stuck in second gear. So getting Ogboko is a big deal. I like Chase Calicut, the defensive back. He's pretty much a star in the making. Trying to think of the other guy. Oh, Craig Dandridge. That's a wide receiver. You guys know how one wide receiver can just make or break a team. Keep an eye on Craig Dandridge. Get to know that name.
There you go, Craig Dandridge. All right, we'll be watching for him and watching for signing day. Ultimately, do they end up with the best class when it's all said and done this year?
I don't think so. Just losing Jared Curtis, losing the 5-star kind of really kills you in the rankings because you get all the points for that. But I always say this about Kirby Smart. I don't know if he's the best coach in America from a X's and O's standpoint. And there's some things that, his coordinators or he will call that make me scratch my head. But I will always say that what makes Kirby Smart special is what he learned at the feet of Nick Saban. If you have the best roster, if you have the best team, you're going to win more games than not. And the one thing Kirby Smart is a master at is creating the best roster, 1 to 85. His top 44 will be your top 44 in just about any way, shape, or form. So by the time he's done with today's signing class and he's done with picking out kids in the transfer portal, he'll have the best roster. That's the way it's been for years, and that's why he's won the titles he has, and that's why they're ranked number 3 in a rebuilding year. This is not a reloading year. They rebuilt the offense, rebuilt the defense, and they're at number 3 just because you can plug in the best players. So that's what they'll have.
I did want to get your thoughts quickly on the SEC championship game, Roddy. It appeared as though Gunnar Stockton struggled against zone coverage in their last outing, something that Alabama's obviously going to do a lot of. Has there been discussion of that? Talk about that? How do you view that portion of this matchup this weekend?
My thought is with Georgia's remember Nate Frazier fumbles early in that game, gives Alabama the difference in the game in that short yardage field goal, and then they benched him. He's running better. Chauncey Bowens is running better. If you're going to have your two offensive linemen that you didn't have, your two starting offensive tackles, guys who are going to go to the NFL playing, you're not going to have that Jackson experiment. He's going to have more time in the pocket. He's going to feel a lot more comfortable. That was only his fifth game of the year, or fifth game as a starter. So if you're going to play in zone, I think he looks so much better against zone now than he did early in the season. So I think Georgia's going to be in a much better headspace there than they were last time.
Roddy DeBulsey joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Roddy, we appreciate it. Enjoy the game this weekend. We'll catch up soon.
Thanks, guys.
Great stuff. All right, Roddy getting us going there on a little bit more signing day, and then obviously previewing a little bit of the SEC championship game. We'll do that and more next right here on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. It is 8:14, Wednesday, December 3rd, right here on Jocks. Had some signing day discussion. If you missed that, you can go back and grab it, jocksfm.com. Grab it on the app as well. Search Jocks945 in the App Store. You can find it there. We're live on YouTube every morning. Search Jocks945. McElroy with us now from Hartsville International Airport on his way back from Bristol, where he was a part of the college football playoff ranking show last night. Big surprises for you? things you didn't like last night? Things that maybe frustrated you?
No, I mean, I wouldn't say anything was frustrating. I feel like the committee has progressively kind of righted a couple wrongs that you and I have talked about for weeks now. I mean, what was the reaction the week that we were together and I was in New York and they were doing the Bama reassessment after they were 4, lose to Oklahoma by 2, drop 6 spots, right? Both you and I the next day were like, that's a lot, man. I mean, that's aggressive. I mean, when you take into account at the time, Missouri was ranked, Tennessee was ranked, just felt like a little too much. So I feel like they corrected that. All throughout this process, you and I have both loved Utah, but they shouldn't have been 12. That's where they sat for a while. They've now corrected that. Both you and I on the first rankings release, we sat there and we said, golly, man, 18 for Miami versus 10 for Notre Dame. That feels like a big gap. Well, they have slowly but surely closed that gap. So I feel like the committee got themselves into some trouble early in this process. But they have slowly but surely corrected some of those mistakes with improved play and maybe not overreacting. I think the one thing this committee's done that's been problematic all throughout is they're a bit emotional as opposed to looking at the bigger picture. I feel like this committee, can tell me if you agree with this, Cole, I feel like they're a little bit too living in the moment. Like, why is A&M behind Ole Miss? A&M should be 6. Ole Miss is 7. For those of you that are like, it doesn't matter, they're getting a home playoff game either way. Well, the difference between 6 and 7 might very well be the ACC champion or Notre Dame. It could very well be Tulane or Notre Dame. I mean, that's a big difference, hosting the 11th seed versus the 7th seed at your home field. So, I don't know. I just feel like Texas A&M was overly penalized. And I also think that the committee is just maybe a little bit too irrational when it comes to evaluating losses and overcorrecting in the immediacy.
No, I would agree with you there. And I think some of the details that are brought out in the explanations going a little bit too far at times. Like John and I were talking about it earlier, and I said, you can stop talking. It's okay. And yes. I feel like Hunter Yurachek sometimes owes these different descriptions. And like last night when he said something to the effect of, head-to-head is a different metric when the two teams are not ranked behind one another or in front of one another. To which I don't even know like what you're even attempting to try to make sense of when you say that. So some of the things of that nature, I feel like just the over-explaining and trying to go above and beyond giving people exactly what they want to hear has been one of the mistakes that this committee has made as well. As far as where teams actually are, I'm with you. We talked about it earlier. A&M felt like a little bit too much of a drop there because you obviously respect the Texas team. You have them at 13. So
heck yeah. It
shouldn't be too bad of a loss. But you weren't going to drop them past Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And you weren't going to move Ole Miss down past Oklahoma either. Were you surprised with some of the conversation around Ole Miss and how they'll be viewed, things of that nature?
No, I wasn't that surprised. I mean, a lot of people were like, oh, is Ole Miss going to drop? I never thought that they would. I mean, because they promoted from within, they still had the same offensive play caller. And while it hurts to not have Lane Kiffin, I thought there was a possibility that they could get dropped, but never to the point where it would be too problematic. Not to the point where they're sitting in the 6th spot all the way to the 8th spot. And back to your point on A&M, I mean, Georgia Tech lost last week. Right? Quality loss. They moved up a spot. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that A&M should have moved up, but the recency bias that this committee shows towards what you did last weekend, to me, is a bit much. And A&M, yes, Texas is a good team. A&M, going into last week, had the number 1 strength of record. So people were making arguments on their behalf of being number 1. So to me, dropping them to 7, I mean, seems like a lot. Seems like an awful lot to me, especially when you have a quality win. It's not like they're without a quality win. And they went on the road and beat your number 10 ranked team. So I just think A&M a little bit too penalized. But Ole Miss, I wasn't surprised. I mean, they're where they should be. They're a good football team. They have quality wins. And whether their head coach is there or not is not that big of a difference. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd love to have Lane Kiffin. I think you would too. It'd be amazing to have him because he can make a quick tweak before the snap and maybe create an explosive from the sideline. But it's not like he's in the weeds all the time. You still have both play colors. You promote it from within, so you have some roster continuity, and it shouldn't be too problematic.
No, I wouldn't think so. And it looked for a moment like you weren't going to have the same play caller, but now they will. As Charlie Weiss Jr. announced yesterday that he'll be back with Ole Miss to call plays during the college football playoff run. So that'll be a positive. That'll be something that's good. We were also talking with some of our listeners about the Alex Golesh hire now that we've been able to hear him and get more commentary from him and begin to see how some of his staff is coming together. DJ Durkin announced yesterday that he's going to stay on. What were your thoughts of DJ still being a part of this staff moving forward?
Well, I didn't think it was a surprise at all. I think that was part of the reason why Golesh is there and part of the reason why Summerall's not. So I'm not surprised even the slightest bit. And I don't think it's a bad move at all. I mean, I like DJ Durkin. And if I'm Alex Golesh and I'm looking at it holistically, why would I want to go out and try to find somebody to learn the league or find somebody to replace something that's already been pretty successful? Like I'm good just keeping the same thing. So I'm fine with them keeping it. I just don't like it coming from the administration. Hey, you got to keep this guy. I'm not good with that. But if I'm Golesh and I'm taking that job, I want that guy. I don't feel like DJ Durkin's the type or the personality that wants to undermine what I'm doing. So I trust him completely. And I think it makes a lot of sense. Now, I only got to read some of the clippings. I didn't get to watch the entire press conference in its entirety. I just got to see the highlights. But it sounds like all the messaging's where it needs to be. And to me, you kind of know where Golesh stands. You know what he stands for. You know what his philosophical approach will be. You know now that he's going to basically delegate all responsibility on the defensive side to DJ Durkin, who will serve as essentially the head coach of the defense. Like, all these things make a lot of sense. And I don't have any problems with what I witnessed yesterday. Were there any significant takeaways that you had that maybe you didn't know beforehand?
No. I mean, because I've known Alex, so
Right.
I know what he is. I know who he is. I know what he's about. That's why I felt great about it when it happened. And I'll be perfectly honest, it surprised me Sunday because I got to Charlotte at about 2:30 in the morning, so I slept for a while on Sunday, and I think I woke up around 9 to text messages already asking me if there was a different name that I was hearing. You and I then talked a little bit later, and it was kind of like, yeah, this name's in the mix now. Like, where did this come from? Because I heard his name initially, and then everything went to Summerall, and then from what I heard, everything went to DJ Durkin. And at that point, it felt like there was really no other option, because I think we all thought that Golesh was done to Arkansas, which I do think that was pretty far down the road. I think DJ Durkin becoming the Auburn head coach was pretty far down the road. And then something happened. So there are a lot of different ways to look at people who stay on staff. This one's complicated for a lot of reasons. Some reasons that we will not discuss on the show. But I will say this. I do not believe, and I think you guys know I would say it. I don't care. I would say it. Specifically right now, I would say it. He was not forced on Alex Golesh. And I think part of why that's important to know, number one, is DJ Durkin and Alex Golesh have known each other. They have. They're both Ohio guys. They've known each other for a long time. So I think Alex would be excited to have him either way. Now, I do think there's some complications with him. This wasn't a done deal. There's some things with DJ that were frustrating, and I don't think it had anything to do with Alex Golesh. But I do think, Greg, when you take all of that, let the dust clear, Alex Golesh having DJ Durkin on as the DC moving forward is going to be a net positive, whereas some instances of where guys were either forced to stay or recommended stay or kind of felt like they had to keep them could end up being a net negative. I think this is a net positive for Auburn and for Alex Golesh.
Well, like I said, if I were in Alex Golesh's shoes, I'd want DJ Durkin whether he was forced on me or not. God's honest truth. one, I think DJ Durkin's a good coach. I really do. I think he's a good coach. I think he did a good job this year. Now, I don't think his defensive personnel is like outrageously ridiculous either. Like I think he coached them up and had a nice season from a play caller standpoint, from a coordinator standpoint. I think he had a really nice year. And there were some games that were better than others, but all things included, like I thought it was solid. And if roster retention, if I think roster retention can be aided with DJ Durkin being there, and it would depend a little on the personality. Like some guys are just not going to mesh. Like some guys are just oil and water. Like some guys' personalities, for example, like when Nick Saban got the job at Alabama, if Joe Kynes was good, and by the way, Joe Kynes was a great Hall of Fame level defensive coordinator for a very long time. Joe Kynes, it wasn't like it was broken with Joe Kynes. Like if Nick Saban decided to retain Joe Kynes, that would have been great. I mean, because he's a great coach. But those personalities don't mix. So when I look at DJ Durkin, I feel like his personality is kind of, I want to say there's like some ambiguity to how he can kind of approach things. And I just like the guy. I think he's a good coach. So I'd want him on my staff if I were in charge, but I don't want to be told that I have to keep him. So the fact that he wasn't told that he had to keep him is great. I would come to that conclusion on my own. I'm great with that. And if that's how it really went down, that's fantastic.
All right, so we can get your feedback, 800-239-9569. You want to text in 205-834-9450. You can do that there. Give us your thoughts on Alex Golesh, one, as a head coach. And we've had pretty much all positive feedback from Auburn fans today, which is I wasn't really sure where that was going to go, how that was going to be. Probably more positive than I expected it to be. And your thoughts on DJ Durkin being retained. Craig Harbour can be with us at 9, talk some national recruiting there. First, Greg, tell our listeners about Canty.
Well, first, before I get to Canty, is it bad that I woke up this morning and the first thing I did prior to getting my workout was just check, internet and whatnot, and I didn't even realize, it didn't even cross my mind that it was signing day until this morning at about 5 a.m. Eastern time, 4 a.m. Eastern time.
No, we said come on the show today like it's National Signing Day for
right?
Whatever that means.
Is that so bad? I got like an email from like Bama 247. And it was like National Signing Day. Get your subscription half off. I was like, what? Like so, yeah. The National Signing Day has changed drastically. It's crazy. So hopefully you were a little more on it than I was because it caught me by surprise this morning. It was the last thing on my agenda this morning, and I just whiffed. I mean, sure enough, I looked at the schedule. I'm like, oh my gosh, it is December 3rd. But that's the way it went. But Canty can fix that. I don't know if they can fix my recall on when signing day can and should be, but they can certainly fix your foundation. That's their specialty. They are excellent here in the great state of Alabama to be able to make sure your foundation is secure. And there's a million different reasons why your foundation might have some problems. You got soil here, you got shifting, uneven ground, you got moisture, weather, lots, even including just the age of your home. So if you're noticing some cracks in the walls and the floors, around windows and doors, those doors and windows maybe aren't sticking or closing properly, that might be an indication that your foundation needs some work. And Canty Foundation Specialists offer free inspections and estimates so homeowners know exactly what's going on under their house, and their work is backed by lifetime transferable warranties. So call them today at 205-509-3991 or go online to Canty, Cantey, canfixit.com. That's canfixit.com.
All right, we'll talk some more college football on the other side. Get to your calls, 800-239-9569. Now that you had a chance to see a little bit about Alex Golesh, see some of his staff, what are your thoughts there? We have some other folks chiming in via Twitter on some different college football topics. We'll get to those when we come back next right here on Jogs. I have a serious question for the group that has kind of been on my mind for quite some time. And sending a text message during the break, it came up again, so I want to have the conversation now. We will get back to college football playoff rankings. I don't know if it's the phones. I don't know if it is something technology-based. Maybe I'm getting old. I don't feel like my fingers are fatter than they once were. Have been fatter in past than are now.
Well said.
And I will say, to be fair, I think this is probably about a 3-letter situation. But my texting letter accuracy has fallen dramatically in the last probably year. And I don't know what it is. There are certain letters that I hit the wrong letter all the time. And I need to know if this is just me. Is it other people have the same issue? I'm trying to think what letters it is. Like, I think S is a D a bunch of times.
Right.
I think N and B.
Yeah.
I get those a lot of times.
I usually, it's instead of the L, I hit backspace.
Okay.
So every time I hit L,
up
I
and
was
down.
back.
Mine's usually left and right off, at least.
Do you need to go to Game Day Men's Health?
No, I don't know if they can help with, carpal tunnel syndrome, but I'll ask. Andrew Sports Medicine probably help me with that one. I don't know. I don't feel like I had this issue for years, and now all of a sudden I'm getting the wrong letters all the time now. Like, is the keyboard too sensitive now? Am I getting lazy and I think I'm getting the right number, and like my rituals of how to go to what letters are now off, and I need to go back and work on my fundamentals?
It's got to be that.
It's got to be that.
So you don't have this problem,
laziness.
Damien?
No.
You don't have this issue, Greg?
No, I'll tell you what I have major problems with right now, though, is spelling. So I
that's
don't
fundamental.
physically
That's
have
right there. Yeah.
That's
I don't
between the ears,
physically
brother.
have challenges. I don't physically have challenges typing the words onto my phone, but my spelling has gotten so bad that even the autocorrect
Is it
can't fix
words that you think you could once you could spell at one time and now you cannot?
Yes.
Give us an example.
There was one license.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
This happened the other day.
I have like 3 that are out there, and I will not be able to think of them now. But when I start to type them, I just immediately say, "Oh, forget it."
Yeah.
I don't know it. I don't
Dude,
know
when
it.
it's
I'm not
so
gonna
jacked
try.
up that autocorrect can't even fix it, you know you really butchered it.
No, when
it's
autocorrect
bad.
gives you the word you're not looking for, you know you're bad.
That's
You're in a bad
okay.
spot.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you're in a tough spot.
So here's an
A
interesting
lot.
thing that I've always wondered on spelling, because I entered spelling bees when I was a kid, never did great, to the surprise of no one. Is spelling a talent or a skill?
I don't think there's a talent there. I think some people have like a visual brain and can like see the word. I don't really know. To me, it's subconscious. Like, I feel like I know how to spell words pretty well. I'm not great when it comes to like phonetics and like sounding them out.
So you
I
think
was good
you
at
think
spelling.
some people are better
Naturally
memorizers?
gifted. Yes.
Better
I think that some
memorizers?
people
Like
are-
they see it once and they just know it?
Yes, I think that just depends on the brain, honestly. Like, I really think that there's some people that can see it once, remember it forever. And there's others that have to, like, actually spell it out and kind of type it out or write it out. Or some people phonetically kind of sound their way through it. I think it just depends on the brain.
It's like Pete Golding told me, 3 types of learners: audio, visual, kinesthetic. The reason that Pete Golding told me that Malachi Moore played when he first got to Auburn, because all their meetings were Zoom. He's like, Malachi was the only one that I could put it on the board, draw it, and then we could put the film on it. He could go through the entire thing. He could tell me everything he needed to do. He goes, none of my other guys can do that. He goes, most football players are kinesthetic learners. You got to go do it to know it. Now, you can watch it and think you know, but like Greg can tell you the same way I can. Damien can tell you the same way I can. I could sit there and watch every defense in the book in the film room. When I addressed that football and got my stance, it did not look the way it looked in the film room.
It's different.
No.
And I think
It'd be
that's
great if it did.
like we think all these virtual reality people are kind of crazy. That's the reason they keep trying to do this. Is because when you go line up over a corner, you're like, hold on, that safety's supposed to be right there.
Right.
Why is he not there?
This corner didn't look this tall.
Same
on
thing
film.
with Greg's. Like, hold on, if that's covered too, that guy's he
supposed
shouldn't
to
be
be
right there. Why is that boundary corner doing that?
Yeah.
It doesn't look the same. So 3 types of learners, and I always feel like good spellers get treated like it's a talent and not a skill. And I don't know how you learn to be a good speller other than just your grade and memorization. Like, I just don't think people are born great spellers. Like,
No.
It's the reps. It's reps. Got to get them in.
We had this one kid in elementary school because I was in extended day program because my mom taught. She couldn't pick me up right after school. And we would walk by this class. Like, everyone would go to the lunchroom. And then almost every day we immediately went out to the field. And, like, we would play football, wolf ball, whatever, kickball. And we would walk by this classroom, and this one kid was in there with the teacher every day. And this is like 3rd grade.
Oh, so he's getting after.
And I was like, what is he doing?
Extra school.
And he wasn't one of the, like, super smart kids every day. And so finally, one of our, counselors, whatever, I was like, why is Ryan in there like, every day? Like, oh, he's practicing for the spelling bee.
Practicing. Hey, that's how bad you want
And
it.
you know what I said to my instructor right there, or my counselor? I said, we talking about practice. I'm about to go play a game. We got kickball.
Told you, man, it's all about those reps.
We got war ball today. No, I don't. I mean, I think like when the spelling bee comes on TV and everything, people treat it like it's this,
like it's the
like
Kentucky
it's
Derby.
inherent or something. I don't. Yeah, like I don't think you're
Right.
born a. I was gonna say you're not bred a speller, but yeah, means you see where I'm going
right,
with that.
yeah.
That's definitely it.
That's the same
I think
thing.
that's it. You nailed that one.
Right.
Get your
No,
words there.
I feel like it's really sad when you see the spelling bee on TV. Like, my brain automatically goes to how crazy are their parents. Like, is that bad that's like the first place it goes? But then again, it still goes there when I'm watching Little League World Series. It still goes there when I'm watching like a million things. Anything involving kids that are like excelling in that high of a level, I'm always like, oh goodness, how hard are the parents pushing them? Yes, when I'm watching the Olympics and there's this 15-year-old doing unbelievable spins on the ice skating rink, or doing some type of crazy vault. I'm sit there and think, oh goodness, like they're crazy talented, but like what are the parents doing behind the scenes? Child actors, same way. Like, it's bad that I go there, but that's where it goes. I can't help it.
So, note to all of Birmingham: if your child is good at anything, don't tell Greg.
Yes, 100%.
Stay away from that conversation right there. So you're a big fan of the Bolletary Academy, then, that then turned into IMG, I guess. So yeah, like send all the 5-year-olds down there to be professional tennis players.
Huge fan. Yeah.
Is there an IMG Academy for spelling?
IMG.
Yeah,
Probably.
it's in their classroom.
Right.
It's called Mountain Brook.
They're not all going down there for tennis. All right.
Yeah, you go professional something other than sports, but I don't know if there's a spelling major. Like, I mean, I think it's a skill. You think you get to a level where, I mean, it just starts to click.
No, but I'm with Greg. Your brain has to function a certain way, I think, to
It's your brain.
allow
It's the
you
same way
to
with math.
get there.
It's like math. Like, some people can.
I don't know, because
Trust me, I'm with you.
God
dog.
didn't give me that part.
I'm telling you, man.
Like,
calculus.
literally, like the
Phew.
wiring looped past that when it came to me on math. I give you a perfect example of that date night with my wife last night, trying to come up with a tip. I'm like, whatever. And I promise you, she goes, it's right there. They have the percentages on it. And I was like, well, then you do it.
That's what they make calculators,
Well,
man.
then you do it.
I try to make my tips all even out. Do you do this?
Yes.
So
It makes it
all my tips, I don't want it to be like in 31 cents.
Right.
I try to make mine an even dollar.
Okay.
See, I'm with
So
you.
if it's
So your
$10,
tip's an even dollar, or your
if it's
total bill?
$10.50, my tip will be X and 10%, or 50 cents, excuse me. So
Yeah.
so I try to make it end up at like $15 or $13. So I try to even the change out to where it's an even
I do
even
the
dollar.
same thing.
Yeah, and that gets me in trouble. I should just go with it. Shouldn't do that. Just
Yeah,
makes it
that's
harder.
way too aggressive. I don't do that.
It's way too aggressive.
See, I'm the other way. I feel like the servers, like, they don't want change. So the tip, I'll round up to a whole $1.
I think that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were saying you tried to make the tip and everything to where the total.
You try to make the whole total
Yeah, make the
bill. So
total.
if
Yeah.
to the dollar.
So if your bill is $8.50, you'll tip like $1.50 to get you to 10.
I see what
even.
you're
Is
saying,
that what
John.
you're
So you will
saying?
just tip $5
Yes.
because you actually think that they take the dollars out and hand them to the individuals like that, and it's not all cut up between everybody.
I don't think we don't have pennies anymore. We can't change that up
Sure,
now.
we still have them, but they just don't make them. Yeah.
Still.
Okay, well, that's fair. I see where you're going with that. I guess I just view it as it all goes into a pot and then dispersed.
Right.
I don't know.
I hope that, but also
you know, he's splitting 41 cents. It's like, hey, man, here you go.
Do you just tell them just if
Yeah,
it's,
you're gonna
if it's
hold
like,
that.
if it's 10.67, just give me a 10. It's fine.
probably.
I don't need the other ones. You keep that.
Yeah, but I do that too, man.
All right, so nobody else except John has issues with keyboards these days. It's not all the time. It's just like it's a couple letters that go back and
And honestly, I think it's certain apps too.
Yeah, because I think certain keyboards and certain
Wow,
apps
now
are
you're
a little bit
blaming
wider.
app developers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Them nerds.
I blame them.
yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Which is why, even though I love this iPhone and I been in the Apple cult for quite some time, best phone I ever had was a BlackBerry. You had the keys right there. You
Dude,
felt
that
everything.
QWERTY keyboard.
Yeah.
It ripped.
Never misspelled a letter.
Pete Moss, he tweets in, same. My inability to hit the B button is ridiculous. So bad that autocorrect changes baked to naked.
That might get you in trouble.
Angela tweets in behind that emoji laughing face. Duck is mine. LOL. I get a lot of autocorrect.
yeah.
I get
Yeah,
a lot of
that's-
autocorrect.
that's
too.
close.
Yeah.
That happens often.
Makes sense.
All right, so hold on. Let me see where the B is. B. I don't think I think B and N maybe a few times.
Those are probably
I have
right. That makes
yeah.
sense.
I'm going for the S for whatever reason. I can't get far enough left to get to the S, and I don't know what it
You
is.
got to slide over there, man.
It's slide protection. Is the problem here?
That's what it is. You're just not
Slide
sliding
over
far
there.
enough. You're leaving the gap unaccounted for. That's not good.
You got to be very careful with the letters X and C because you're trying to spell out SEC. They're right next to each
Yeah.
other.
No, that happens.
And
That happens a
that's
lot.
whoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've actually seen some folks tweet that. Yeah, it happens. Stephen Madrid tweets in, it is what it is. Good spellers are nerds. Their football is spelling. Okay.
Their football is spelling. It's wild.
What's the slide protection
Spelling's
of
hard.
spelling? I after E except after C?
That is
Yeah.
that's a high level joke right there, brother. I'll give you that one. That was good. That was really good.
That just combines all of our worlds.
Yeah, right. Like that was
No,
that
it
was
doesn't.
perfect.
Raising
spelling,
kids.
spelling is not really my world. I'll say this.
spelling's
My
hard.
daughter just went through like a spelling quiz phase, and some of the words, I'm like, they're not serious, are they?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Try to weed them out early.
This is a joke.
Yeah.
And the amount of words, like we would work on one and like 25 words, and the next day, but we have 25 more tomorrow. I'm like, we
What?
just learned those.
That's
It's
so
baby
many.
steps.
BR in
Golly.
Vestavia, welcome into the show, BR.
Guys, I've waited. What's up? I've waited my whole life for this discussion. I was a 5th and 6th grade spelling bee champion down at Fortdale Academy.
Let's
and,
go. It just means more.
What was your word?
I've waited 40 years. I've waited 40 years to get on the radio to brag about this.
You know, now's your time.
Let's go.
What was the word you won on?
It was disestablishmentarianism.
Oh.
What?
Okay, now I don't believe this conversation.
Yes,
Can you spell it now?
yes,
It's not a word.
yes, yes, yes. I can.
That's not a word.
I didn't think it was either, but I strung it together, and I played all the sports, and I'm an Auburn fan, but I had to say that's my biggest accomplishment. So thank you
That's a
for
good
thank you for the
Congratulations.
time,
Yes.
and
Hey, hang the banner.
you've made my day, and now I can tell my kids, and they believe me. So
There you
thank
go.
y'all.
You always go back to the
And
podcast.
War Eagle.
Tell them that you are the UCF of Mac and Cube callers.
Spelling bee champion. That's hard.
Post it.
What word was that?
That's not a-
Disestablishmentarianism?
No. By the way, if that is a real word, that's literally the judge's middle fingering that kid. Just being like, oh
Trying to
yeah,
wean 'em out, man.
like they
Get
came up.
this
They
one.
came up with real hard words, and like, okay, throw that one at him.
Nope.
No.
That judge is from
That's like-
Alabama. He's like, oh, I'm getting this kid.
That's like
insane.
two hard words mixed together. I mean, that's like it feels like three words
Maybe
all mixed
three
up together.
jammed in there together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I feel dumb because
Beast.
I remember in 2nd grade I lost. And
Uh,
the word was only.
What?
Yeah.
No, you did not.
I swear to you, I
That's
lost.
a hard one.
2nd grade.
The R is silent.
What's
So were my tears.
Jolly tweets in, dude, in text and posts, and then add sensitive autocorrect. It's maddening. It happens to me almost every post/text.
Yeah.
Royal Payne tweets in, I started using voice to text and have to correct a lot less. However, the words, my accent makes the magic computer creature think I say scary things sometimes.
Yeah. Now I will say, I will say the voice to text. I didn't realize how cornbread I sound until I started looking at some of the sentences that put together. I'm like, there's no way I said
We
this.
used to
There's
call
no
you
way.
Baby Moss, and it's just now sinking in?
Yeah, there's no way Siri is understanding what I'm saying.
All right, so I think I told you that this was a weird thing that my wife found with the younger generation because she's doing some work with KDs on Sanford, and she said that the kids nowadays will text when to call. So you don't just call people. So like my wife would say, well, just call me later. We'll talk about it. She goes, I'll text you to find out when. So they all text each other and ask when they can get on a phone call. I've never heard of this. I had never heard of it. And she said, I thought it was just one or two, but then it happened like 20 times over the course of a few months. And then heard them saying it to each other. So like that is interesting also. And I found this about the younger generation. Not voice to text, but voice texts. Now we know some people do this so they don't have any evidence, which is fine. But what I have begun to hear about are like marathon voice texts.
Yes. Yep.
I had no idea this was a real
Dissertations
thing.
out
Like
here. Yeah.
11 minutes, 22 minutes, like
That's insane.
30-minute voice text.
Podcast.
That's a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. But they're putting their phone down, doing things, and just telling this other person whatever, just going,
Yeah.
and then hit send.
Just call me.
There's not a chance in hell that I'm listening to a 10-minute voice text from someone.
No.
If that was my wife, like it better start with, I have been abducted. You must listen to this. Otherwise, I'm out. And I'll call you and we'll figure that out. It's not happening. There's no way. Like,
No chance.
Where do you draw the line on voice text? Like if it's over 2 minutes, I'm probably like, no.
Mine's, I think, 90 seconds to 2 minutes.
Yeah,
That's
we're not
most.
doing
Minute.
this.
I think mine's one. Yeah.
Yeah, mine's a minute.
I need under a minute.
Okay. All right. We got people calling in. We'll get to them and more next on Jocks. Zach Manning tweets in the show, I have the same texting problem. Whenever I type Civic Center, it autocorrects to COVID Center.
Oh, boy.
I need to know why are you typing Civic Center so much? Stephen Madrid tweets in, Cole, it's called old and lineman hands. Maybe. I'm not 100% sure how this started happening. And I don't know how old would be a part of it, but maybe it is. So there you go. All right, Nate is in Cleveland, Alabama. Wants to chime in on, dang it, I did it.
Chime in.
Sorry.
Group text and voice text are horrible. I can't deal with them. But I was working for a company and got a new manager, and I sent her a text. We had talked on the phone, group conference call, and I sent her a text and said, "Hey, are you busy? Call me." Well, somehow I accidentally put a T in behind the S in busy, and she called me, and I didn't realize I had done it yet. So later on that day, I was looking back through my messages. Yes, it is definitely applicable.
Yes.
But it was. She laughed about it. She had a good sense of humor, thank God. But yeah, I messed up pretty good that time.
That's a great story, though. Thank you for sharing that with us. We appreciate it.
It's scary.
Poor Nate.
It's hard out there.
That's tough.
It is.
That's tough.
Good thing it was applicable. Otherwise, whew, you'd have been
Tim Cook.
Yeah.
Throwing us all under the bus. All right, Troy and Madison on spelling bees. How many have you won, Troy?
I won one, and then I was humiliated when I went to, like, the regional after that with, like, 100 kids. I only made it to the second round. What I was going to say on that real quick is, you know, it's a skill, but it's also, like, you know, you have to have a passion for it. Like, had I taken Latin when I was in 5th grade or 6th grade, or, you know, the kids always ask what the definition is or what language does it derive from, and then they can kind of figure it out, even if they've never seen the word. Where I was very reliant on, I had to see the word, practice the word in order to, you know, to figure it out. Like, I didn't know exhilarate had an H in it, and then, you know, I end up get bounced in the second round to like 110 kids. I think I was the second one out. It was humiliating.
The Latin background thing is really interesting because understanding how words were derived, I could see where that would be of big benefit. I would never
Greek,
thought about
a lot
that.
of that.
Yeah, the other thing is I'm 50 years old. I learned to type with my fingers, and I'm with you, Cube. Like I make a lot of mistakes with my thumbs.
Yes.
And I'm still great on the keyboard, but thumbs, like I'm inexplicably, like you, hitting the wrong letters, and it's really like it's very concerning for me.
I will say most of my mistakes are thumb, so maybe we need new thumbs. So is he telling us that all these little kids that are out there spelling like have taken Latin at like 9 and 11?
It's tough.
I would think. See, that's what I'm getting at. Like parents. I'm telling you.
And Will Smith say they just don't understand?
Yeah.
Whew. All that pressure.
Johnny, do you have a basketball game this weekend? No, but I have Latin tutor for 2 hours.
Lock in.
Gonna win the spelling bee, though.
Yeah. So you're telling me there's a different kind of film study, but for
just
spelling
nothing
bee.
but words.
They put the word up there for like 1 second, and you have to memorize it.
Now spell it. That's tough.
Wild. All right, more on that. Craig Harbert talks National Signing Day with us next, right here on Jocks.